it saved my life getting an eye exam.
Really?
I took my son in to get his glasses, and of course I'm holding the paper 10 feet from my face. It's because I can't read it. I didn't have my readers with me, and the doctor's like, Mr. Moore, when's the last time you had your eyes checked? And I was like, it's been a couple of years. It's been a while. He said, why don't you set an appointment? So I did, and I had vision insurance, so I wasn't too worried about the cost. So I came in there, paid my $30, whatever it was, and he spotted something in my eye and sent me to a specialist. It turned out to be a tumor.
Wow.
And ended up 2 weeks later, literally 2 weeks after that appointment, I was having surgery. They were inserting radiation behind my eye. And it saved my life just having that eye exam.
Wow. Just
something that simple can, and I'm not the only one that happens to.
That's right, yeah.
Just go in there, spend time on your eye, spend some time on yourself, whether it's your teeth, your vision, get those things done.
Mm-hmm. No, that makes sense. And if you've got the insurance that helps a little bit with the cost.
Absolutely.
Then it makes it easier to do the self-care.
Right.
And like you said, if it's $10 a month for vision, it's $120 a year.
Yep.
And you may only pay $30 for your eye exam.
Right.
Where if you didn't have vision, you might pay $200.
Right.
So it's almost every dollar you put in, you get out once a year just on an eye exam.
Absolutely. And I'm not sure what an eye exam costs just straight up. I'm sure it depends on the physician involved.
Mm-hmm.
But having the vision insurance certainly helps.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then if you need glasses or frames, that stuff health insurance doesn't cover, but a vision plan does.
I see. Yeah. So that's part of vision.
Right.
Okay. Now, so what do you see? What do you see on the trend? I'm interested on the trend of these HSAs that smaller employers may be offering.
Right.
Because now, if I understand the new bill correctly, a small employer can offer an HSA plan, but not offer a benefits plan.
Well, that's really an HRA, not an HSA.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
That's really an HRA. So they can basically kind of offer the employee a set amount of money to then they can use to go to the exchange and buy insurance.
Okay.
Which on its surface sounds good, and that could end up turning out to be a sign of how things are going to go in the future. Now, right now, the rules and regulations are new. They're changing. They're fairly complicated, and no one really knows quite what to make of it yet. There are some companies taking advantage of that. Most of them are companies that really don't offer much in the way of benefits right now.
Okay.
So and they're always looking for a way to put something out there for the employees, even if it's not a full-fledged medical plan. So that's a stay tuned.
Okay.
We don't know how that's going to end up, but it's worth watching, and I do think that's going to evolve.
Now, so I see these plans that have an HSA. So talk about a plan that potentially has a little higher deductible. The cost is a little favorable.
Right.
But then it has an HSA tied to it. So how does that work for an employee?
An HSA plan is simply a medical plan that fits in, let's just call it a box, that the government said this is a qualified HSA plan. Generally speaking, it's a high deductible plan with no first dollar benefits. In other words, it doesn't have a doctor's office copay. It doesn't have a pharmacy copay. Until you meet your deductible first.
Okay.
And it is a higher deductible.
So $5,000 or something like that.
Yes. Yeah. So it's a major, there's a range without getting into all the details, but it's basically a major medical plan.
Okay.
Now the advantage of getting or going with an HSA, a qualified HSA account is that you can open up what they call an HSA account, a savings account.
Okay.
And best way to look at that is consider it like an IRA for your healthcare expenses.
Okay.
You can put money in it. It's your money. It stays your money, and it's not a use it or lose it.
Okay. So this is not a flex benefits plan.
No. So if you're single, you can put this much in it a year. If you're a family, you can put this much in it a year. If you're over age 55, there's an additional amount you can put in it, kind of a catch-up contribution.
Okay.
They work well. I mean, the main reason to have them would be for that tax advantage account. You know, if you're not going to use the tax advantage account, you just got a major medical plan at that point. And from a company standpoint, they can work very well, particularly if the company is willing to contribute some money to the employee's account.
Okay.
So that when they go to the doctor, there's something in there, and typically the employee can add to that, which they should. But if you just throw the benefit out there and say, all right, it's up to you, you know, to put money in your account, well, that usually doesn't go over very well. I mean, if it's the best you can do, it's the best you can do.
Right.
But there's no it's not going to generate any positive feelings from your employees by suddenly doing away with a plan that had copays and going to this.
Yeah.
And even if you put money in the account, you got to watch it because it can be drained quickly if there's not much in it. You know, if you're a family of 4, because that money can be used for any expense, dental, medical, chiropractic. Well, you can burn through your money just on dental, and when somebody breaks a leg, there's nothing there. You just have to pay for it all out of pocket.
Yeah. No, that makes sense on the having the company put a little bit of money in there.
Right.
It helps soften the blow a little bit, and hopefully it'll encourage the employee to also put a little bit of money in there. That way you got a couple $1,000 maybe in the year to work with. So as we approach 2020, what do you think? You think anything major is going to happen in the coming years with healthcare?
Something will, but we just don't know what it is. You know, a lot of that's which way the political winds blow.
Yeah.
Frankly.
Yeah. It seems to every year get more and more expensive.
Yes, and that will continue. Now there are some trends taking place. I think people and employees are learning that they can shop where they get their care. Especially testing and x-rays and labs and things of that nature. So as time moves on, you know, that's gonna help keep costs down.
Yeah. Well, but that's one thing that I know you do when we're out with clients. You know, the whole group's impacted by the cost. Right. So I think that's something that you explain very well, is that if you've got a group of 20 people at this small business and 15 folks are on the plan, if they all max the plan, you know, if they're all spending, you know, as much as they can, then that group's plan is likely going to go up the next year.
Correct.
So it behooves the whole group to shop.
Well, to pay attention to what's going on.
To if they can save $1,000, even though their copay of, you know, let's say they've got a 30% copay on imaging.
Correct.
Well, even though their 30% of $500 is not much different than 30% of $1,000, the plan's going to get hit with $1,000.
Right.
And that's something that I know you try to explain to the executives and business owners, is that let's look for ways to save. Let's all look for ways to save.